Dodgers general manager Brandon Gomes reveals the pitching plan for Shohei Ohtani. Michael Conforto finds a key adjustment that could turn his season around. Will Andy Pius be an all-star? What's going on with Freddie Freeman? All that more coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, ready to parade. We got it, parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series.
Ohtani starts the 50-50 clock. Mookie Magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube, presented by DodgersNation.com. My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you want to support the show, hit the like button. Also, podcast listeners, write us a review and we'll read it on the show. Of course, every episode, we start with the poll question of the show, the Dodgers Nation poll question of the show. Today, I asked you guys over on the X, will Michael Conforto turn his season around with the new adjustments that he's made? And right now, 47% of you say yes, while 53% of you say no. So Michael Conforto, truthers rise. We'll talk about him later in the show. Producer Noel, he's looking for your comments of the show. He's looking for all of your takes, any questions you have for the seventh inning stretch. Drop those down below. We're going to give it a comment of the show later, so drop those comments. Do you think, here's Producer Noel. He's rocking with us as always.
The camera was following you a little bit, D-Man.
I was. It was a little double camera vision. I like it. I'm feeling it. But all right, guys, lots to get into, lots of Dodger baseball to talk about, lots to get into, so let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So the hottest story in Dodger baseball is still involving Shohei Ohtani. Yes, that pitcher that hit his NL leading 27th home run yesterday is still the talk of baseball because he's back on the mound doing Shohei Ohtani things, doing things that we just don't see in this sport when you talk about an MVP level hitter and a pitcher that can throw at a Cy Young level. But the $1 million question in Dodgers land right now is how they're going to use Shohei Ohtani. Dave Roberts said recently that they might not build him up to a typical 6-inning starter and get up to 90 pitches. We don't know when his next appearance is going to be. Is it going to be Saturday against the Royals? Will it be earlier than that? The fact that he's going 1 inning and possibly 2 innings, that makes it where they have flexibility with him. And the original plan was to have him go 1 inning and then next time go 2 innings and do an up-down. What's an up-down? When you pitch, then you go in the dugout and you go back out there. So they got to check that box off. Well, so there's a lot of talk about what they're going to do. And Brandon Gomes, Dodgers general manager, he was on MLB Network yesterday, and he gave some insight about the Dodgers' plan about what they're going to do with Shohei Ohtani pitching moving forward. Here, give a listen.
Yeah, the beauty of Shohei is obviously any inning we get is essentially a free inning since he doesn't count towards the pitcher's limit. So as he was going through his process, the ramping up at 1 o'clock and then getting ready to hit come 7 o'clock was essentially like playing a doubleheader for him. So, as we got closer to him getting stretched out through conversations like this is too taxing on his body, and we felt like going ahead and finishing his basically rehab progression while in the major leagues was the best combination for him and for us to get going. So yeah, he's gone out there a couple of times, been really impressive, and we'll keep going from there. Yeah, I mean, he very much is one of the best pitchers in the game as well. So we have to continue to build him up so that he will be taking down normal starts at some point, but being able to do that in a prudent fashion while also contributing to the major league team is the best of both worlds. Obviously we saw him, start the game on Sunday and then have a massive offensive performance. So he's done this so much. I think because he hasn't done it in a while, in 23, he was putting up essentially the same offensive numbers that he has the last 2 years while also being a Cy Young contender. So nobody knows how to do this better than he does, and making sure that, we're not, giving too much one way or the other, and making sure being able to strike the balance is really important. So that goes back to having conversations with him and, being in lockstep with how he's feeling.
So listen to what he said at the very top of that. He said that everything is a win. Everything is an added bonus because of the fact that he doesn't count against the pitching roster. I mean, you can have Shohei Ohtani on the roster and you can still have 13 pitchers on top of that, a full complement of bullpen arms, a full rotation. So anything they get from Shohei, any pitch, any innings, it is an added bonus, and it takes away from the innings that the bullpen that has already thrown more innings than any bullpen in all of Major League Baseball has to pitch. So you have to look at it as an added bonus. It is the cheat code. It is the ABACABB. You get to skip the first couple levels of a game. But typically in a game, the first couple of levels are the easiest, right? Baseball's not like that. Baseball, the first inning can be the hardest level. If you look at the history of Major League Baseball, in the modern era, teams average 1.12 runs per first inning. That is more than any other inning in the game. The reason for that, you're facing the top of the order. The pitcher is trying to get those guys out at a high clip. He's going to give them his best stuff, and sometimes you're getting warmed up into a game. So using him in the first inning can be a major advantage. It can help this Dodgers team give the bullpen a break, and it can also let Shohei Ohtani go out there, do what he wants to do. Be that two-way player, right? Be that unicorn. Be the guy that does something that no one else does in this sport. But then, for the majority of the game, he can focus on hitting. And look, when he was with the Angels, there were so many games. I mean, go back, look at his game against the Tigers. His game with 2 home runs and 13 strikeouts and 12 strikeouts against the Dodgers. He's had so many games where he's been great offensively at the plate as well as pitch great. But with this Dodgers team, let's not forget what the whole point was, right? Let's not forget what the whole point was. The whole point about him coming to the Dodgers was that he has the depth and the talent around him to compete for World Series titles. Let's not forget what it was all about in the first place. And that's what it's all about. And I was talking to someone within the Dodgers, and I was throwing my ideas towards him, and he was giving me a little, and I was throwing out my theories, and I said, hey, is the theory for Shohei Ohtani, is the plan for him to get the exact amount that you need from him, where you don't need him to go 6 innings or 7 innings if he doesn't have to, but if you need him, then that's a possibility. And I think right now it's a sliding scale. So what I asked him was like, hey, is it going to be a sliding scale based on need from him? And they gave me a little wink, wink, and they told me that's a pretty good guess about what's happening as far as the plan for Shohei Ohtani. So my feel on the situation is that if Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto come back healthy, and you still have frontline starting pitchers that can get the job done, then you don't need to ask as much out of Shohei Ohtani. He can go out there, give you 1 or 2, 3, 4 possible innings, and then focus on being one of the best hitters on the planet. And pair him with Ben Kasparius in a piggyback start. But if Tyler Glasnow or Blake Snell or Yoshinobu Yamamoto or any of those guys for any reason goes down with an injury, well, Shohei Ohtani's a living superhero, and he can build up, and he has the potential to give you that. So that is what my theory was, and that's what I was told is a pretty good possibility. Is so there could be a world where you see him go 6 innings and 7 innings, but ask yourself this question. If those guys are healthy and all they do is pitch, and Glasnow is an all-star pitcher with Cy Young level stuff, Blake Snell is a multi-time Cy Young Award winner. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is the highest paid pitcher in the sport as far as his overall contract, $325 million being one more than Garrett Cole signed for. Those 3 guys are paid to be aces. You think they're just going to throw Shohei in front of those guys if they don't need to? Yeah, you don't need to do that, right? So that is what I've heard as far as kind of the plan for him. But the most important thing is that he's bouncing back and he's feeling good. And here was Brandon Gomes when he was asked about the possibility of Shohei being a reliever.
Yeah, at some point, I think it's very much taking it how he feels coming out of every outing and seeing where he's at, taking a few days to assess, and then we can make our decision from that point. Like I said earlier, that's the beauty of having him on the rosters. It doesn't affect anybody else. We don't have to drop in, somebody because of it. Any inning that he can give us is only a positive. Especially if he's starting the game. Generally you want your best pitchers versus their best hitters, and that's a good matchup. So, like I said, we'll take it outing by outing and look to build him up along the way.
So you heard him right there. And look, I see people throwing out there this idea of him being a reliever. It doesn't make any sense just because he's got to warm up, and that complicates things with the type of lineup that he's going against, and he has to be ready to hit as well. If there's certain situations at the end of the game, I can almost guarantee you this. I can almost guarantee you that if they're in a clinching situation and he hasn't been used extensively in that series and he has to go out there and get the final 3 outs, I'd bet that they'd be using him in that situation just like he was used in the WBC to go out there and get Mike Trout. So in that situation, yes, a very special circumstance, he could be a reliever, but you're going to see him used as a starting pitcher. And if by definition he's an opener in a piggyback situation, that is how he's going to be used. As far as when we're going to see him next, it's going to be against the Royals in some capacity. I think it's going to be on Saturday. I think that makes the most sense for him. I do expect him to go multiple innings. In his last appearance, he went 18 pitches, 12 for strikes, had back-to-back strikeouts to end things. If it wasn't for Mookie Betts losing one in the sun, he goes 1, 2, 3. Wasn't a lot of hard contact. Velocity was down a little bit, not a ton of swing and miss. Sweeper's nasty. The cutter away was nasty. And I think that the one guy that knows how long he's going to go is that guy, and that guy being Shohei Ohtani. They are relying heavily on communication with him because they don't have the data points to compare anything else to him. So that's the plan for Shohei Ohtani. I think it's a sliding scale. However much they need him, they're going to use him, but there's no reason to burn him to the ground when you got a treasure trove of ace-level pitches. Yes, the Dodgers have more aces than a deck of cards when everyone's healthy, but that can change in the blink of an eye. But that's the plan for Shohei Ohtani right now. And then Brandon Gomes was asked about Mookie Betts and how well he's played at shortstop this season and what that means for him in the playoffs and if he's going to stay there. Because remember last year, started at shortstop, broke his hand, came back, ultimately moved to right field, and that's where he ended the season. Here was Gomes on Mookie's future at short.
Yeah, Mookie's been amazing at shortstop. I think, it speaks to as soon as he puts his mind to something, and he told us, right from the get-go this offseason that he's going to go out and tackle it, and he's like, I can do this. I know I can. He's been outstanding there. So, yeah, right now he's been great, and that's our plan. Yeah, all of it's lining up. I mean, I think the eye test, the defensive metrics, our internal stuff, it all says that Mook has been outstanding at shortstop. And what's amazing is I don't even think he's gotten to as good as he can be. He's taken so few reps compared to most guys who are already this good. So I think from a defensive standpoint, we're going to see it get even better.
So you got to give Mookie a lot of credit. He really has transformed himself at 32 into an above average shortstop. He's in the 94th percentile in outs above average. He's 5 outs above average. And you got to commend him for it. He's doing something that's never been done. And it was good to see him get a double to left. That's kind of the classic Mookie Betts double. But if you ask me, gun to my head, would I rather have Mookie be a right fielder that hits for power and a little bit more above average and is kind of hitting at an MVP level like we've seen him throughout his career as a Dodger versus an above average shortstop that right now is just 6% above league average offensively, which would be the lowest in his career? I'd take Mookie and right, but that's just me. And even if it was a situation where it's Mookie and right, Teo and left, and Andy Paz in center. I think Paz's bat certainly would justify any defensive issues he would have in center. But hey, hopefully this turns things around. Mookie has been steadfast in that him playing shortstop isn't impacting his offense. I asked Mookie this point blank. I asked him, hey, is playing shortstop impacting your offense? And he said no. And what he told me was that last season that he was playing at an MVP level while spending more time learning the shortstop position and not having success at that position, but he was still hitting. So that's what he thinks. But then for me, just kind of being I just find it hard to believe. It's the toughest position outside of the catcher spot. And I find it hard to believe that it's not impacting just a little bit. But I hope that his season turns around. We get the Mookie that we've seen, because so far this season, like I said, this would be his worst offensive season of his career. And we're getting close to the All-Star break. So bring my facts to the fight. Try to keep it 100 on this show. And that's where we're at with Mookie Betts. But it was a good sign yesterday. Hopefully things turn around. And look, this is a guy that you can never bet against. But the hard hit rate, the barrel rate, bat speed, stuff like that is down. But let's hope he turns it around. He's Mookie Betts, right? And if he can hit and play shortstop at this level, he deserves MVP conversation. He really, truly does. And then Brandon was asked about Max Muncy and his season turnaround. And it's been really remarkable to see what Max Muncy's done. He has been the best hitter on the Dodgers in June. Better than Shohei, better than Freddie, better than Mookie, better than Andy Diaz, better than everyone. And you got to thank those glasses.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that was driven by Max and him saying, like, I feel like there's something a little bit off. I've kind of always had this, and it's gotten a tick worse. So, he went and explored it, obviously, through the help of our group. But that was driven by Max. And, he took a few, I think it was probably like 5 to 7 days to kind of test it out in the cage and then pregame. And I know we had conversations. He's like, it just feels a lot clearer. So as he obviously, that line of delineation has been pretty impressive. And I think, we've talked about it a lot with Doc in our group. When you see Max go backside line drive, backside home run, especially on heaters, top of the zone, you're like, that's when he's really dialed. And we hadn't seen that for a while. And it's, becoming a much more common occurrence right now. He's been carrying us offensively, really.
He's been absolutely carrying the Dodgers this month. And as Brandon Gomes pointed out, that's what Max Muncy told us. When he's covering that fastball up in the zone, that's when you can cover everything. You're seeing backside home runs. You see him go opposite field. You saw that grand slam, his 200th as a Dodger, has 201 as a Dodger. It's going to pass Matt Kemp at 203 pretty soon. He's going to pass Garvey at some point. And I look at his numbers, and since he did the interview with this show, since he did that interview, Noel, he's hitting .317, slugging .603, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs, leads the team with a 194 weighted runs created plus. He's got the Dodgers dugout live karma, right? Right, Noel?
You again, D-Mac, but yes, he does, man. That dugout interview, that was amazing. You putting on those glasses, it's like you gave him double.
I'm like,
did you see
Max Muncy's a great player? He deserves all the credit.
Doug, did you see what DV did too with Conforto, the fish?
I saw that. Yeah,
so you guys are just single-handedly.
No, yeah, and we'll talk about that. Yeah. So what Noel is pointing out is that Dave Vassay did the weak fish handshake with Mile Conforto before the game yesterday. And DV did that with JD Martinez a few years ago when he was struggling, and that turned his season around. So let's hope that that turns into just that. So that's pretty awesome stuff. Couple more things from Brandon Gomes I found pretty interesting in his interview with MLB Network. He was talking about the farm system and where this team sits, and how when they're always contending, it makes it very difficult to build a top 5 farm system, but they still continue to do that. The Dodgers, the 4th best farm system in baseball this year, despite the whole system designed for perennial contenders to not be picking that high, and they still are able to scout and develop talent that puts them at that mark. But here was Gomes talking about the farm system.
Yeah, it's become something that we're just used to dealing with, and our goal is to always pick last, which means we win the World Series. So it speaks volumes of our scouting group, our player development group, how tightly knit they are, and finding these guys that we feel like will be good fits for our system to come in and have great work ethic and make up like Copen does, and come in and maybe they're not a first rounder, but they work their tails off and really elevate themselves within our system. So I think it's a combination and making sure everybody's all working closely together to target players that will fit well in our system and really develop, even though we're not picking near the top of the draft. It's a good question. I wouldn't have that off the top of my head. I think a lot of it is those top 10 picks or so are generally the guys that come in and have massive impact. But you see guys all over the place. We had, Kevin Kiermaier on our team last year, who was, I think, 33rd round. So it's the beauty of the game and the beauty of the system is that as long as you have an opportunity, you can go out and prove yourself and anything can happen.
And then he talked about a wild story. I don't know if you guys knew this story, but Patrick Copen, he was hit by a line drive in the eye and completely lost his sight. And he's continuing to emerge in his career. He's pitching well, and he's going up the ranks. And here's talking about that wild story with Patrick Copen.
Yeah, just an amazing story of resilience and, an incredible support system from his mom and dad and his girlfriend, Macy, and then our player development group. Cope has always been somebody our scouts loved early on. Big body, thought that there was a lot of ingredients there to be great. And he, working with our pitching group, has just completely dove in and tackled everything we've asked him to do. So he's seen his velocity go up, his command get better, adding real weapons. He's got 3 fastballs and then, an incredible curveball and sweeper that he mixes effectively. So I think this guy has all the ingredients, obviously overcoming something like he did last year to go out and keep working. I mean, he was basically to the point of he couldn't wait to get back to watch game film right after, he got hit last year. So there's a thirst and a hunger to be great there. And, nothing's going to stand in his way.
Just an absolute wild story. Back on August 20th, 2024, Copen was making his 9th start for the Great Lake Loons, the Dodgers High A affiliate, and he was going up against the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. I love minor league baseball team names. And there was no one out. There was a runner at first. It was the 3rd inning, and he threw a pitch that was absolutely laced up the middle at over 100 miles per hour. It struck Copen in the cheek in the vital bone area. He never lost consciousness, but he was put in a neck brace. He was stretched off the field. He suffered several facial fractures and underwent emergency surgery that night. It left him with no vision in his right eye. So he came back and, just a wild story for Copen. That's a pretty crazy story, huh, Noel?
Bro, that's insane. I didn't know this story until right now, actually.
He's a Cyclops.
I mean, to lose sight like that and still want to, stay in the sport that it happened, it's incredible. Yeah,
probably a lot of mental hurdles to get over that, but it's great to see him continue to make his way through the system. But when we come back, a little 3 up, 3 downs. 3 things I like, 3 things I don't like in the world of Dodger baseball. And for today, in the case of all of baseball, talk about a scummy fan that has now been banned. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. Welcome to the Dodgers Nation Podcast Network, your front row seat to everything Dodgers all season long. Home of the #1 Dodgers podcast in the world, Dodgers Dugout Live, hosted by me, Doug McKain. Friends call me D-Mac, and we cover everything about your boys in blue, everything you need to know about Dodger baseball in less than an hour. We've got breaking news, post-game breakdowns, roster updates, trade rumors, in-depth player analysis, Dodgers trivia, you name it. Whether it's a wild walk-off at the Ravine, a key call-up from OKC, we've got the insight, we got the coverage, and we're here for you all year long. We're the #1 Dodgers site on every platform, and we're born and based in LA. We're loyal to the soil. Dodger baseball is what we do. Trusted by tens of thousands of daily listeners, Dodgers Nation is more than just recaps. We are LA. Whether you're in Echo Park or out in the Valley, Beverly Hills, whatever it is, if you bleed blue, this pod's for you. The more you guys subscribe, the bigger we can build, and we can do this together. So stay up to date with our Dodgers Nation post-game shows and breakdowns and podcasts. You can listen while you're lifting, while you're in traffic, or while pretending to answer work emails. We won't tell. Subscribe now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your baseball fix. So if you're a new listener or a longtime listener of the podcast, write us a review and we'll read it on the show. Join the conversation, stay ahead of the game, and never miss a pitch with the Dodgers Nation Podcast Network. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout, live, the number one Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. Shout out to our producer, Robert, cooking up that commercial. Also, if you guys don't subscribe to the podcast, do so, because you can listen to it when you're walking around and when you're listening in your car. Also, we're going to do some podcast exclusive stuff too, interviews that you can't get videos for. We're going to throw it on the podcast too, for sure. And definitely go and do that. Claudia says, how do I get my big dog t-shirt? D-Mac. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely communicate with you for sure. And we'll talk about that t-shirt in a little bit. But guys, and keep dropping those comments. You got some Joseph H. D-Mac. I have a fever, and the doctor told me the only prescription is more Hae-Sung Kim on the starting lineup. I need help. It's a comment to the show. Give you your Hae-Sung Kim. Think about this. Someone's got to tell Dave Roberts that Hae-Sung Kim can be a cure. The comet can be the cure. So give you a nice little let's go Dodgers for that one. VZ D-Mac is the real miracle worker. Get Betts on the show next. See, that's what I see what you're doing. I like that idea. I love that idea. I believe in Mookie. I don't bet against Betts. Johnny Owen, what happened to Snell? Snell was the Giants' biggest problem last year. It's what they didn't offer him. It's why they didn't offer him a contract. He was statistically the very best pitcher from July 9th to the end of the season. So he wasn't actually. But Lucy Chen, I remember before the season, Snell said that he wants to be the workhorse of this rotation. It's so laughable now. He only made 2 starts. Seriously, no more trading or signing injury-prone pitchers. So the jury's still out on Snell. And yes, I hear you guys out there. D-Mac, he's a secret agent. He's a double agent from the Giants, like Jason Schmidt was to ruin the Dodgers from within. So he feels good. He's far away from coming back, to be honest. You probably won't see him back until after the All-Star break. He still has to use his entire pitch mix and go out on a rehab assignment. But hopefully he can finish the year strong and pitch when it means the most, and that is in the postseason. But let's get to it. 3 up, 3 down. 3 things we like and don't like right now in the world of Dodger baseball.
3 up, 3 down.
And the first thing I like, the first up today, is Michael Conforto not just having success. It'd be one thing if he just had a good game. It'd be one thing if it was just, okay, a home run and a double. Every now and then, the squirrel's going to find the nut. We get it, right? But it's the adjustments that he made. And I will say, Michael Conforto truthers rise. I know that it's not a lot of them out there. I know that I'm one of the only ones. I know I read the comments. You guys saying, D-Mac, is Michael Conforto your uncle or something? Or I don't know, is he your brother or something? You think he's a family member that I'm defending? No, that's not the case. Am I defending him because I picked him to be an all-star? And instead of being an all-star, he has the worst batting average in baseball? Maybe a little bit, okay? But the truth is that not only did he have success last night, he had success with adjustments that he had made. Now, this season, Michael Conforto's really struggled against fastballs. And that is a pitch that Michael Conforto had a lot of success with last season when he was great in the second half of the year with the Giants. With the Giants, he had himself a really good second half of the season that was one of the best in baseball. And he had really dramatic home road splits. He had a 632 OPS at Oracle Park in San Francisco and an 852 road OPS. So the Dodgers said to themselves, wait a second, Oracle's the worst hitting park in baseball, along with T-Mobile where the Mariners play. Conforto had 17 of his 20 home runs outside of Oracle. He put up all-star numbers outside of that park. And Dodger Stadium, even though it's had a reputation as a pitcher's park for a lot of its history, it's actually more of a hitter's park than a pitcher's park. So the Dodgers' logic was, let's bring in a guy that struggled at home, was great on the road, and have his home stadium now be more like how he performed on the road last season. Well, unfortunately, we know that's not the case. We dove into his numbers yesterday, so I won't get into the weeds on that. But what I do want to point out is the adjustments that he's made that have led to better results. Yesterday was the first game that he used his lighter bat. The Dodgers have given guys lighter bats throughout the years. Cody Bellinger got a lighter bat. It's happened, and it's led to success. And where it can help him the most is against fastballs. This season, Michael Conforto is hitting 179 and slugging just 304 against heaters. and he's seeing mostly fastballs. He's seen 53.4% fastballs this season. Last season, he was hitting 283 and slugging 547 against fastballs. So that 547 slug has dropped to 304. That 283 batting average has dropped to 179. And then you look at some of his other advanced metrics. You look at the bat speed, it's still in the 72nd percentile. Well, you give him a lighter bat, it's going to allow him to hopefully catch up to fastballs a little more. And then there was another adjustment that he made yesterday, and that was a leg kick. And leg kicks aren't for all hitters, but what they can help you with is rhythm and timing. Sometimes the hardest part about hitting is just being on time. So a lot of hitting coaches, I mean, look at the adjustment for Hye-Sung Kim was to keep the foot down. And that way, if your foot's down, you can cover more stuff because you're on time. But that is if you can control engaging your lower body. Sometimes if you don't have a leg kick or you're not emphasizing that area, you're not getting that power. And the legs are your strongest muscle, and the power just has not been there for Conforto, and he hasn't been lifting it as much, and he hasn't been pulling it as much. So with a leg kick, if you have the rhythm, you can make adjustments to different pitchers. If there's location on the outer half and the inner half, you can get to stuff. It just gives them the ability to go out there and be athletic. You can make adjustments during the pitch, and you can just cover more of the plate if you can do it right. I mean, look how it worked for Justin Turner, guys like that. Some guys, the leg kick helps them. Some guys, the leg kick, you want to do away with it and kind of simplify their swing. But yesterday, when he hit that home run, just look at his lower half. The legs were more engaged. He looked more athletic. He looked more powerful, looked like more of that violent swing that we've seen from Conforto throughout his career. And it just activates that part of the body. So I was impressed to see a leg kick. I was impressed to see a lighter bat. And the other thing, little leg kick, get that lower body down. Look at him engage. Look at, he looked like, you know, you feel bad when he's surprised. He looks shocked. You know, it's bad. You know, you're having a bad year when you look surprised to be hitting a home run at Coors Field. Okay? That is like playing Madden on rookie mode. It's like playing your brother on Madden on rookie mode, or you're bowling with the bumpers on, right? Coors Field is a place where you should feel good about your offense, and it's a good place to get out of slumps. I always say, give a slumping hitter some vitamin C, and that vitamin C is vitamin Coors Field. So to see him go in there and have some success, leg kick, lighter bat. The other big thing that stands out to me was pulling the baseball. That's been what's missing for Michael Conforto this season. This year, he's been hitting 52.5% of his contact going the opposite field on fly balls. And for his career, he's at 38.7%. So that number tells you right there that he's not pulling the ball as much. And the reason for that is if you look at his setup this year, it's been a little closed off on contact, not as open. So the leg kick allows him to open up that stance a little bit, go pull side more. That's his strength. And look, call me crazy. I know it's just one game. So I saw the comment. D-Mac is buying all the stock on Conforto because he picked him to be an all-star after one game, and you guys gave me a bruh down below. I get it. But like I said, the difference for me is there's adjustments that have been made, and the results are different. I will say this. If Michael Conforto hits a home run tonight, or Michael Conforto gets multiple hits, we'll get a Conforto shoey. Okay, it's been a while. You guys have been asking for a shoey. I promised you a shoey if Shohei went scoreless in his first appearance. He did not. So tonight, that's what I'm looking for. If he gets multiple hits, anything, 2 singles, I'll do it. If he gets a home run, though, I'll do it as well. You know what? Might as well throw in a triple because it's unlikely. But that's a wrap. But here was Michael Conforto talking about the adjustments that he has made and really one of the biggest games of his season yesterday at Coors.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been feeling a lot better recently. Made some changes, kind of opened me up a little bit, added a little bit of a leg kick, you know, and just put a lot of work in. And, you know, I think the ball's coming off a little hotter, and, you know, I'm just taking better at bats. So that's been the name of the game, and I'm just glad to do something to help us win. I mean, you know, those are good signs for sure. You know, I've really just, you know, just dying to see the ball hit the grass, and to pull the ball in the air with something behind it today was big for me. So that's definitely a good thing, and hopefully a lot more of that to come.
See, you hear him right there. By the way, I knew I was going to get cooked. If you guys want to cook me for standing with Conforto, I will stand on that side. I'm not going to switch it up right now. Nando390 says D-Mac selling Conforto like a ketchup popsicle to a lady wearing white gloves.
Bruh.
Getting cooked.
Finish him.
We got we got to Alex, Andre, D-Mac, your audience not crying as much lately. What's going on? Dodgers playing good baseball. I mean, it's just how it is. AM Sanchez, need a Carl Cam on Freddie tonight. Nando 390 Conforto retired last night. Best game of his life.
Finish him.
We got Ed, so I'll take a D-Mac polo shirt collection. All right. Hey, I rock the polos. Julian Anthony, I need 2 full series of great hitting, home runs to jump on the Conforto wagon. Yeah, look, I mean, I've been driving the Conforto hype train. And look, but also I've taken the L too. But let's not forget, I mean, did I not say that Teoscar was going to make the All-Star team last year? Did I not say that JD Martinez was going to make the All-Star team year before that? No one was saying that stuff. So look, I mean, he's not going to be the All-Star team, but I can make up for it if he wins. I can make up for it if he proves big in the postseason in some capacity. And look, the truth is, there's a little bit of a sunk cost fallacy with Conforto. They paid him $17 million. They want to get the best of that, and they realize too that if they move off of him, well, they're not going to be able to benefit as much from him. And it would really hurt them to say, oh, we went through the dark times. And then all of a sudden another team gets to reap the benefits when you have your second half hot streak that you've had for the last couple of seasons. But that was the big takeaway yesterday as well, as Dave Roberts was asked about how critical this next stretch is for Conforto in keeping his spot on the roster and his role on the team.
I think he's in a much better spot. I like the swings. I like the at-bat quality. Seems like he's getting to velocity better. And so I know for him just to be able to contribute offensively, it's got to feel good. And I think we're trending in the right direction. It's critical. I think that I've shown that my faith in him and giving him opportunities. And I do, like I said, I think he's trending in the right direction. But, we're going to continue to look and figure out ways we can get better as a ball club as we do get close to the deadline. But I hope that's not in his kind of mindset, just continue to get better each night. But it's important for him to continue to play well.
So there you go. Yeah, Dave's been on record. I asked Dave last week, is Kim going to get more playing time? Dave Roberts said, hey, in a meritocracy, you don't want to take away from Kim if he's earned more opportunities. And he mentioned Conforto is struggling. So Conforto is playing for his Dodgers life right now. Yesterday was a good sign. We need to see a lot more. But the good thing is we're seeing this thing play out. And the reason why I don't lose too much sleep about this is because we've seen the Dodgers move off of Jason Hayward, Noah Syndergaard. The list goes on and on. If they don't think they're going to help you, they're not afraid to eat the money. Alex Renteria, we got he made as much eye contact as Yamamoto's run support, 0. Alex Renteria getting a bruh for that one. Leonardo Blanco, hey, D-Mac, the Manta Mask has more hits than Michael Conforto. Come on now. I see the comments. Michael can 0 for 4-0. Nando 390, D-Mac ready to put Conforto in the leadoff spot. I'll keep taking it, guys. I'm not afraid to take it.
He's a real one for bringing up the Manta Mask. That's a throwback.
I know. It really is a throwback for sure. Absolutely. I mean, the Manta Mask is kind of an OG. We got Kenny Chung, one decent game by Conforto, and Peeps getting bamboozled that he's back. My goodness. So want to make it very clear here. I am the first to say it takes more than one game to fall into a slump, more than one game to get you out of a slump. I'm not saying he's out of this thing, but the encouragement for me is knowing that legitimate changes have been made. Remember last season, Max Muncy goes to the step back, the Arenado-like step back. He's done that a few seasons ago. What happened with that? When players make adjustments, you have to see how the results play out. And there's no guarantees here, but at the very least, he's doing everything. The organization is doing everything. And the worst case scenario is they move off him. You see more Ha-Seong Kim, or they make a trade to add another piece at the deadline. But switching gears to my first down of the day, my first down here on 3 Up, 3 Down, is Robert Suarez, the pitcher that plunked Shohei Ohtani with a 100-mile-per-hour heater in between the numbers, has had his suspension reduced. He's had his suspension reduced despite the fact that it was clear that was intentional. Dave Roberts said, it's 3-0, and again, this is a right-handed pitcher going across court to hit Shohei up and in. That's a hard throw, and I don't know how many left-handed hitters Suarez has hit with the fastball, but clearly there was intent behind it. And yes, what Dave Roberts is saying there is, as a right-handed pitcher to hit a left-handed hitter, you really got to aim that thing. And if you pause midway from when the ball gets to Shohei, that thing is going towards his dome. That's what he was aiming for, at least the top, above the belt. So not only is it a right-handed pitcher throwing at a left-handed hitter, it's above the belt. And he gets his suspension reduced for throwing at the face of baseball. How the hell does Joe Kelly get suspended 8 games for not even hitting a hitter? And Robert Suarez gets 2 games for hitting the face of baseball with a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. This makes absolutely no sense. Major League Baseball absolutely dropped the ball in this situation. They should have made an example out of Suarez, especially with the way that Shohei handled it. Shohei should have got a negative game suspension, if that's even making any sense to you. A -4 game suspension. They should have allowed him to get 5 strikes in his next at bat. They should have let him go against Lance Lynn against the next team for 5 at bats, hit a couple of home runs. Whatever the opposite of a suspension is, they should have given that to Shohei Ohtani with how elegant and how great he handled that, walking over that Padres dugout, making them look like googly-eyed little boys looking at a superhero. And you give Robert Suarez 2 games. It doesn't make any sense at all to me. And then on top of that too, I want to make something clear here. If you suspend a reliever against the team that they're not even playing in the future, it doesn't really hurt them that much. He got the save yesterday against the Nationals. They should make it where Suarez is suspended next time they play the Dodgers. I know that sounds ridiculous, but in this case, there's got to be a better way to suspend it. But let me know down below in the comments section, what are your thoughts on Suarez getting that suspension reduced? Maybe Shohei just waved the league off his back like he did the Dodgers teammates into that dugout and said, we don't want it. Alex Renteria says, are you surprised MLB didn't punish the Astros, vacate the 2017 World Series? Absolutely. That's all. Hey, they're coming up here. The Astros are coming to town pretty soon. Julian says, blasphemy. B. Guzman, Suarez should be in the joint. Oh, you want to throw him to jail? That's a little extreme. He'd be in a cell next to Ipe. Lumberger, didn't Schilt pretty much admit he was intentional? That's another thing too. MLB should have suspended Schilt for basically saying that was intentional. You cannot have that. Ben says MLB gone soft. Good thing they have a pill for that. Okay, I'll read anything here apparently. We've got DFA Manfred from Elishiva Jones. First 3 balls were outside. That's some BS. So yeah, clearly we're on the same page with that one. And Shohei Ohtani getting suspended. Okay, so next up, let's talk about Andy Pages' All-Star case. So if you haven't yet, definitely go vote for Andy Pages to be an All-Star. He certainly is deserving. If you look at his numbers among National League outfielders, his .294 batting average ranks 2nd. His .845 OPS is 6th. His 16 home runs are 4th. His 53 RBI are 2. His 3 FWAR is 4th behind Pete Crow Armstrong, Corbin Carroll, and Fernando Tatis Jr. And his 134 weighted runs created plus is 6th. Also, he has 9 defensive runs saved. That's 2nd among all National League outfielders behind Tatis. So he's been really good offensively, really good defensively. He deserves a spot on the All-Star team. And it could come down to, does Corbin Carroll's injury lead to that? Because he hasn't played since taking a fastball to his left hand on June 18th. He was placed on the 10-day IL on Tuesday as a chip fracture in his wrist. And outside of Carroll, the 5 outfielders that are ahead of Pages, you've got Pete Crow Armstrong, you got Hernandez, Teoscar Hernandez. You got Kyle Tucker on the Cubs, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Juan Soto on the Mets. So the point here is look at those names. Pete Crow Armstrong was kind of the early darling of the MLB season. Sometime that first narrative really catches on. He plays with the Cubs, Wrigley Field, a lot of pub there. Ronald Acuna Jr., that's an MVP. Juan Soto is Juan Soto. Kyle Tucker. Those are all brand name guys. Brand name guys that deserve a spot, a consideration for a spot for sure. And I think that for Andy Pages, sometimes you get the all-star votes the year after. And if you look at where his voting stands right now, yeah, Dodgers fans are going to have to really get their voting on. I mean, right now, as of yesterday, this is probably a little higher right now. He was at 962,219 votes. That's behind PCA, who's first. Teoscar's actually second with 1.3 million. So Dodgers fans, if you're voting, vote for both your guys there. Then Kyle Tucker, Ronald Acuna Jr., Juan Soto, Corbin Carroll, the 6 guys there in front of him. Fernando Tatis Jr. surprisingly is 8th. And Tatis Jr., not going to sit here and say he deserves more votes as a Dodgers show, but I mean, he's kind of getting shafted himself. James Woods of the Nationals putting together a great season offensively, deserves some credit there. So we'll see if they can make it the vote. By the way, you only have to vote for who you want. You don't even have to vote for him. You can literally go in there and just vote for Dodgers, and that's it. But his best path could potentially be, if the votes don't pick up, to get selected as a reserve, and that's also a possibility. So the pitchers and the reserves for both squads is 23 players for each side. That's determined by the player ballot choices, and those selections are made by the commissioner's office. The complete all-star roster is going to be announced on ESPN on July 6th. So the best thing about this is make or not make the all-star team. He has played like an all-star after having a rough start to his season. And most importantly, this is a guy that is a young homegrown talent. He's the best homegrown talent since Will Smith. So go vote for Andy Pages, the big dog. And before you do that, go pick up the Big Dog t-shirt at gearup.la. Look at this tee. If you don't know the story behind why Andy Pages is the big dog, it is that after he was hit by Dylan Cease in that Padres series, Manny Machado, he was popping off and saying that they have other superstars on the Dodgers they would hit, and they have other big dogs. So the team is calling him a big dog. Noel and I were at the stadium. We were talking to some of the players. That's the name. And they love it. It's fitting. And shout out to Noel for designing this fire t-shirt, this big dog t-shirt. Oh, the Rookie of the Year. Okay, guys. So this Rookie of the Year shirt is going to be sent to the same country that the Indiana Pacers championship t-shirts are going to be sent to, because Roki Sasaki is not going to win the Rookie of the Year. How about we add Rookie of the next year, possibly? But yeah, the Comet shirt, this might be my favorite one in a long time, Noel, because it's Haesung Kim, sliding animation, the Comet. Love this one. Go to GearUp.LA faster than Haesung Kim goes first to third to pick up this t-shirt today. Yamamania, another phrase coined on this show. I like the big head vibe. Gives me a late 80s, early 90s vibe. This is the best t-shirt run we've been on, I think, in a while, Noel. So shout out to you for designing these fire t-shirts at www.gearup.la. But yeah, the one that Noel designed was the Roki Sasaki shirt. So go.
No, man, I was gonna tell you. I know you're a big Haesung Kim guy. So what do you think about that Haesung Kim music account, bro? He's been on an elite run lately.
Dude, so yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he's a fan favorite for a good reason. I mean, there's just something about the guy. The young fans love him. His teammates love him. Dave Robertson, everyone loves him. So yeah, Haesung Kim is him. And is his walk-up song a song that was sung about him?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
He recently got it. Yeah, you got it popping. He's him.
Yeah,
Kim, like you said.
Haesung Kim is Haesung him. Absolutely, 100%. Let's see what this Conforto Kim battle goes. We got some comments here. Brian S. Roki of the offseason. Come on. Carlos, let's all vote Conforto since he had a career game last night. DMAC wants to. Okay. You guys.
Finish
come on. Hey, that'd be awesome. If you guys could do that, if you guys could Conforto in the All-Star game for me, man, that would mean a lot for me. I really would. We got to LSU Jones. Paz and Muncy have earned all-star placement. Yeah, Muncy's having an all-star season as well. Believe it or not, the way that he's improved his year, he's absolutely put himself in a position to have a great all-star run too. So let's keep moving here. Next down, quick one. We did a little bit of this yesterday, but Freddie Freeman, it was another rough night for Freddie. He goes 0 for 5, was able to reach on the error to Tolia. And look, he's struggling. Make no mistake about it that Freddie is going through it. And I think that the positive in this is if you had to pick any guy on this team to be in a slump that you felt confident would get out of this slump, you would have to pick Freddie Freeman. But this June, he's hitting 188 with a 499 OPS. I mean, he is at the bottom of the team right now. I've never seen anything like this in his time with the Dodgers. 15 of his last 80, 22 strikeouts in that stretch, and just 4 doubles. Just 4 doubles. We haven't seen a home run from Freddie Freeman in a while. Man, this is crazy, actually, when you think about it. I mean, we haven't seen a home run from Freddie Freeman since May 11th against the Diamondbacks. It has been a long time since Freddie Freeman has left the yard. He has 9 home runs on the season. The good thing is, I mean, like he's been known to be, he's the most miserable 300 hitter, and that's because he holds himself to the highest standard. And he has 897 OPS, so he has a hot 2 weeks. He's right there. But I think the main takeaway here is that early on in the season, we were saying Freddie could win the MVP. And if he wins another MVP and he's got the World Series MVP, go to the Hall of Fame as a Dodger and all that stuff, well, the numbers just continue to go down. He's at a 148 weighted runs created plus, so he's 48% above league average. And the thing for Freddie is the strikeouts are up. He has a 20.5 strikeout rate. That would be his highest strikeout rate since 2016. So he's swinging and missing a lot. He's not going to the big part of the field. When Freddie's right, he's short to everything, letting the ball get deep in the zone, making a lot of contact, and he's expanding. He's not seeing it well. But it's Freddie Freeman. On a scale of 1 to 10, my concern level is honestly, I'm going to just say a 1. But let me know, what's your concern level for Freddie Freeman? Okay, let's keep moving here. 3 up, 3 down here on Dodgers Dugout Live. Next up, I want to give you guys a quick update on Alex Diaz. The Dodgers may have just done it again. They get Alex Diaz. They claimed him. They absorbed his $2.9 million that was left on what he's owed this season, which with where they're at in the CBT, you have to go 110% above that. So you're paying double to have him in your organization. Well, he threw a scoreless inning for AAA Oklahoma City, got his first save with the Comets. He has not given up a run in either of his outings for OKC. The fastball velocity is sitting around 93.4 miles per hour. He's topped out at 96.3 miles per hour, but the spin rate is what's gone up since he's gone to the Dodgers. His spin rate has gone up to 2,667. He was sitting at 2,475, and that is a really good number when it comes to spin rate. Allows him to get soft contact, allows him to get swings and misses where hitters are swinging underneath it. And if you look at his mix and what they're kind of doing with it, he's been going 4-seam and slider, and he's been using that slider in the zone. So that's something that helps him because when you're using the slider in the zone, you're actually trusting your defense and you're trying to induce soft contact. And that's what he's been able to do. He's been getting a lot of soft contact using that slider in the zone. And even in his first appearance with OKC, he pitched well too. I mean, he threw just 12 pitches and he was right in the zone. In his first appearance back, he was averaging 94.6 on the heater. He's topping out at 96. So I'm pretty excited about Alex Diaz. I think that this organization truly views him as a guy that can get right-handed hitters out. And with Evan Phillips out for the entire season, having Tommy John surgery, I think it's only a matter of time that the Dodgers bring up Diaz, and you can't view him like a Lou Trevino, a Ryan Ludis, guys like that, guys that are filling innings right now throughout the season, but you don't expect them to be a part of this postseason bullpen unless things go very wrong. They hope that Diaz can take to the new information, the adjustments, and find a way to be a major player in this bullpen. Because let's not forget, it's a couple of years removed from being an all-star. So the Dodgers may have done it again with Alexis Diaz. Okay, last down. I know I say that 3 up, 3 down is supposed to be 3 things I like and 3 things I don't like in the world of Dodger baseball, but we're going beyond. We're talking about all of baseball today. And if you saw this, yesterday, Ketel Marte of the Arizona Diamondbacks, he looked emotional on the field, and everyone was wondering why. Why is Ketel Marte emotional? Well, after the game, Diamondbacks manager, UCLA Bruin Torey Lovullo, they said that a fan had yelled something to Ketel Marte about his mother, who had passed away in a car accident in 2017. And the moment that left him, look at this. Look at Lovullo putting his arm around Marte. He's visibly upset. He's crying. I know Jimmy Dugan from A League of Their Own said there's no crying in baseball, but it's okay to cry when you got a heckler reminding you that your mom had passed away in a car accident. There is no place for that anywhere. Baseball, I mean, what kind of loser, what kind of lowlife does this? I think, look, and the good news today, though, is that Jesse Rogers reported that that fan that heckled Ketel Marte has been banned from all the Major League Baseball parks. So he's banned in all Major League Baseball parks. And I'm reminded of what Mike Tyson said a few years ago. Mike Tyson said, social media made y'all way too comfortable with disrespecting people and not getting punched in the face for it. I'm a boxer, I'm a fighter, Mike Tyson. You guys like Mike Tyson, Iron Mike? Well, this is the one case where it's just totally unacceptable. They need to find out who this guy is. I'm not trying to publicly dox someone or anything like that, but this is just terrible for a fan to do this. And we saw Yankees fans assault Mookie Betts last year in the World Series, and now you got a fan doing something like this. I hope they ban this guy. I hope he gets ejected for life. For life. He does not deserve to go to a Major League Baseball game. Going to a big league game is an absolute privilege. It's not a right, and this guy should lose all of those privileges. There is no place for this. I mean, what an absolute lowlife for doing that to Ketel Marte. Okay, so before we get to the 7th inning stretch, we got today's Dodgers Did You Know?
It's time for Dodgers Did You Know? A mind-blowing fact about your boys in blue.
So on this day, on June 25th, 2017, Kenley Jansen recorded his 51st strikeout before walking his first batter in his 31st game of the season. That was a major league record for strikeouts to start a season without issuing a walk. I know we think of the last years of Kenley Jansen. He was the California Adventure. It had its struggles, but man, when he was at the peak of his powers, he was the absolute greatest. I mean, he was not Eric Gagne roided out version, but man, he was right there. He only walked 7 batters that year, had 109 strikeouts. If you took away his 51 strikeouts and you just gave him the rest of those with the walks, he would have still had an 8.29 strikeout to walk ratio. That would still be elite. I mean, he was stupid video game good. He led baseball that year for closers, for relievers, ERA, FIP, Fangraphs WAR, strikeout to walk ratio, was second in expected FIP, Sierra strikeout rate, walk rate. I mean, he had a 42.6% strikeout rate and a 2.7% walk rate. I mean, he was absolutely ridiculous. He converted 41 of 42 saves during the regular season. He joined Eric Gagne as the only Dodgers pitcher to have 3 40-save seasons. I have to admit it. When I think of Kenley Jansen in 2017, I think of that 0-2 pitch to Marwin Gonzalez in 9th inning of Game 2 of the World Series, where Marwin Gonzalez hit that bomb, and it changed everything. It blew that game, and the Dodgers were going to lose that game and the World Series. And for as much as the cheaters cheated and the Astros did what they did, if you found a way to win that game, I still feel like you could have won that series. And the crazy thing about that is in his career, he only allowed 2 home runs on an 0-2 count. In an 0-2 count before that, he had only allowed 2 home runs in his entire career. Opponents had hit .083 against Jansen on 0-2 counts. Just an absolute heartbreaker by Marwin Gonzalez. Okay, guys, do a quick 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
I'm gonna run through this super quick. We got Tommy Lynn. Shohei will get his revenge. I don't worry. He will K10 Padres in the postseason. Love that. We got Leonardo Blanco. Hey, D-Mac, imagine if Joe Kelly was pitching in that San Diego series. Machado, I'm sure, is getting one to the noggin. Yeah, we'll talk about a funny Joe Kelly story. I was talking about that Baseballs and Boring guy, about him he got into like some little leaguer's parent. I don't know. Carl, the way Ohtani reacted to being hit showed he is not only a role model for kids, but also a role model for adults. That's a comment of the show. That one kind of hit me. I don't know why. Totally right. I mean, he's on another level, man. I glaze Shohei Ohtani so much I should get a job at Krispy Kreme Donuts. But I mean, you guys do too, okay? And there's an example there. Kenny Chung, LB threw the book at Kelly because the entire league wanted to plunk the Astros. LLPMU's day 6 of still mad that Yamamoto was robbed of his immaculate inning. Yeah, speaking of guys that are wearing the Manta sleep mask, taken away from a immaculate inning. There would have been 118th immaculate inning. It's been 326 no-hitters. It's more rare than that. We got Jay Valdez, Conforto, and D-Mac eat Dodgers sluggers after each game together. We got the Stoner Cat. It doesn't really surprise me with Roberts' choice to run out Conforto. Roberts is a headstrong on increasing frequency. He knows you need it. He knows he needs it more than Kim for confidence. Nando, 390. D-Mac, ready to put Conforto in the leadoff spot. Joseph H., you think the Dodgers don't want Ohtani to pitch a lot this year? Is that why the buildup is so slow? What if it's just one or more inning out? We kind of talked about at the top of the show. I think they're doing it based on how much they need him. And also, he's coming off a second Tommy John surgery, and he's pivotal to their offense. A 199 super chat from Pocket Rude Boy. D-Max Polos never stood a chance. Fire. Joseph H., do you think the Dodgers don't want Ohtani? Okay, J. Matt, I firmly believe his performance at shortstop is working against his batting. Either that or losing all that weight is really taking it back. I asked Mookie about his weight, and he actually told me that he's actually heavier now than before he got sick. And this was like 2 weeks into the season. So I think it affected his numbers early on, no doubt about it, but I don't think that's doing that now for sure. Zedmaster619, yo, D-Mac, who's our left fielder in October? I think it'll probably be Pajes or Teoscar. Gun to my head, and you'll have Edmund in center field because that's their best defense. But I hope that it is Conforto having a good year. Tony Visuals, what up, Doug? Wish you a great Wednesday, brother. What's up, Tony Visuals? Guys got the great pictures in the game. But all right, guys, running out of time. So let's get to the walk-off.
The walk-off.
And today for the walk-off, this is a pretty wild statistic. You can check us out over at Dodgers Nation Instagram, where Shohei Ohtani follows Dodgers Nation now. Yeah, breaking news. Shohei Ohtani has 9.7 million followers, follows 266 people, and Dodgers Nation is one of them. By the way, here's a Dodgers Nation Instagram guru, Noel, representing it. I want to point out this stat that you posted over on Dodgers Nation Instagram. I thought this was really cool, and that is that the only two players in Dodgers history to hit 10 home runs and pitch at least 2 games in the same season, Shohei Ohtani and Kike Hernandez. But that is going to do it, by the way. Should we DM him? I mean, see if he can come onto the show.
Might be worth it, man.
The show.
DM him live on the show.
Hey, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm telling you. One of these days, we're getting exclusive with Shohei. Got to put it out there.
Doug, I don't know how much you know, like the NBA, like discourse, like YouTube wise. There's a guy named Cash Nasty. He's been trying to meet LeBron forever. He finally met him on Kai Cenat stream the other day.
Really? Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I mean, thankfully, we do get our opportunities to ask some questions, but man, imagine having him on the show, him and Decoy, man, it'd be incredible. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you really want to support the show, hit the like button on your way out. And remember that nothing, absolutely nothing brings together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Gives way to spring. Rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball.